Can you hear me? Back on the air. Gonna do a little bit more Spider-Man broadcasting to continue to refine my technique, as they say. So, the next thing to do in Spider-Man is push the story forward by going and seeing Martin Lee about the mask. But there are 2 side missions to do, so we're gonna do those first. Always good to soak up that experience, soak up those points. Never mind. Anyway, we're gonna go do Storming the Castle, so we're gonna go see the Bird Lady of Alcatraz. Ooh, JJ.
I understand we have another low-information caller who thinks we're better off thanks to Spiderman. Let's see if I can set her straight. You're on with J. Jonah Jameson.
Which one is this?
I just want to say that I've never seen Manhattan so safe and peaceful. Compare what it was like when Spider-Man first showed up to now.
Oh, this is
Okay,
Cahoots.
fair enough, I will. Then, we had police and firefighters doing a wonderful job. There was crime, sure, but nothing they couldn't handle. Of course, we do have things now we didn't have then. Maniacs who shoot electricity out of their eyes, walking piles of sand, Nazis made of bees!
Who's the Nazi made of bees?
All those guys in jail?
You're missing the point! They didn't exist before he came along. At best, he attracts them. But I've often wondered if they're in cahoots.
Wow, I've never actually heard anyone say cahoots before.
Wow, what great line
All I'm
reading.
saying is, I'd hate to imagine what would have happened if all those guys showed up and Spider-Man wasn't here.
Another lost cause. Goodbye.
That was kind of one of the more boring entries in JJ's podcast. But I like them for the most part. They're fun. I do wonder if making him such an Alex Jones XP is gonna make those entries kind of feel dated in a few years. It's kind of already starting to. But, oh well. If he were more explicitly right-wing, I don't think I could stand him, but his whole deal is that he's just got Spidey derangement syndrome, so I'm okay. We can do as we do. Are we getting close to the Bird Lady? Bird Lady. This right here, this stuff, web swinging, this is why you buy this game. It would be kind of a mediocre game without this. Well, maybe not. But this is like 70% of what makes this game special, this good web swinging. There are some people who still say that some of the web swinging in the earlier games was better. I did have Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube, it was excellent. This seems better to me, but it's been a long time since I played that one. I never played Web of Shadows. Alright, here we go. Come on. Come on.
Doing a little nighttime bird watching?
Well, I was watching for nocturnal raptors in the park when I noticed a bunch of men armed with rifles over at Belvedere Castle.
Thanks for the heads up, Miss,
Stephanie, let me know if I can help. I'll keep an eye on the activities from up here.
Thanks for the assist, Stephanie. Why would armed men be at Belvedere Castle? Got a hunch they're not tourists.
Yeah, a bunch of these early missions are about continuing to wrap up, mop up Fisk's forces, so these will be Fisk guys, as the true threat of the game hasn't really materialized yet. That's a little later.
Fisk's men. This isn't good.
Okay, can we do this without breaking stealth? That can be a little on the tricky side. Sometimes. There's a guy over here. Okay. And you come up. It's not super worth it to stick to stealth in this game, but to an extent you make your own fun.
Better see what that. Sleep it off.
Even though that's technically not breaking stealth, that still feels a little bit like a cheat. So I like to do that as little as I can. Let's see. Can I just sneak up on this first guy? Okay, the other guy heard me. And it doesn't matter anyway.
That's all of them. Let's find out what they were up to. I'm not
Yes.
sure what's going on here. Wonder if there's any info I can get from this flash drive.
Oh, well,
Stephanie, a
that
bird
guy
just
was
stole
in
a
the
flash
way
drive full of
anyway.
evidence. Maybe a pigeon. Is that normal?
It is nesting season, so I'm not surprised. You know, I think there's a nest in the trees just southeast of the castle.
Great, I'll check it out.
You know, this is part of what makes Insomniac storytelling in these games so good, which is why I support these games so well. Is that this starts a sort of Peter and the Pigeons saga, where over the course of this game and into the next, Peter's opinions on pigeons change, and this is the first instance of it. So it's cool. It pays off decently well in Miles Morales. I like it. But this is the first of about 3 relevant Peter and the Pigeon submissions in this game. Okay, but
This is it. I've got the drive.
alright.
See what Fisk's men were up to.
I don't know if there's always a specific pigeon that has the flash drive. Like that time it took 3 captures. I've done it in 2 before. So I don't know if the game chooses one or you have to capture so many before it'll let you do it. Hard to say. Here we go.
Looks like they were uploading a worm to the Central Park Wi-Fi system.
Wormy worm.
This could give them backdoor access to a ton of personal data. Come to think of it, even I use this network. Wait, it's still uploading remotely.
I hate
There must
time
be
limits.
multiple access points. Stephanie, you're my eyes in the sky. See anything else strange in the park?
I see a pair
Pick
of
one.
orange
Go for it. Go. Go, go,
Look,
go.
guys at a nearby
We're
giant
going.
rock.
Thanks. Keep a lookout for anything else. I need to get to that junction box before the upload completes.
This is just a matter of beating the crap out of these guys.
Oh, crap! Look out!
I'm playing this on Spectacular, which is my comfortable setting. This is not a hard game by any stretch of the imagination, but a clean playthrough on Ultimate is a bit on the challenging. So, I like to do this just on Spectacular most of the time. Ah, water!
Heads up. I better get moving.
Don't web swing over water.
I
You'll
never thought I'd say this.
you'll sink.
Why does Central Park need such strong Wi-Fi coverage? I thought people came here to get away. There they are. Need
What
to
a
keep them away from
boomer
that box.
thing to say. But he's under stress. We should have free Wi-Fi for all as a government service.
Won't do that to me! You understand what private property is?
Only one more to go.
This game is so talky. Hard to talk over it. This might not have been a good idea for a proto streaming game. But we're here. Might as well make the best of it. Beat these guys up.
I literally didn't see that coming.
Oh, I hate the shields. And I don't have the really good modifiers for dealing with it yet. Just have to do basic techniques.
Don't mess with the kingpin and live.
I already did, and I already have. You see that?
There.
The timer makes
People of
this
Manhattan
mission
can
feel
rest
more
easy knowing
stressful
that
than
their
it
passwords
is.
and cat videos are safe.
Cat videos.
I think they might
That's
have
an easy, family-friendly
Are you sure?
boomer internet reference.
Armed men just arrived.
Lock the roof entrance and hold tight. I'm on my way.
If he had said memes, it might have been a bit
Need to get to Stephanie
spicier.
before Fisk's men do. She wouldn't be involved if it weren't for me.
And then there's spicier possibilities still, but we'll leave that
Break down
be.
the door.
We know you're working with the spider. Open up!
Nearly there.
The Spider. That's such a superhero thing. Spider-Man becomes the Spider. Batman becomes the Bat.
Split up and find the girl with the binoculars. Spider-Man, take him out. Then toss the girl over the edge.
That's the franchise I wish would come back. Batman Arkham. Or at least that style of games. I know the storyline is technically over. We kind of waited years for them to announce the next one. And now we're at the point where we're getting another one, but not really. This Arkham Knights, whatever it is. And I'm worried about it being a live service scam, but we'll have to see how that works out. I've not even bothered with Marvel's Avengers, and you can't make me. Not even when Spider-Man comes to it. It's not going to be worth it.
Oh, thank you, Spider-Man. That was a little more exciting than my average night of birding.
Birding.
Thank you.
Bird's
Your
the
eagle eye
word.
stopped an incarcerated crime boss from harvesting half the city's personal data.
Not too shabby, huh? Plus, I found a nest of red-breasted nuthatches when you triple kicked that guy in the face.
I don't remember doing that.
Too. You want to check them out?
Thanks, but I think I'll focus on jailbirds for now.
Yeah. XP. Give me that XP. Want to eat it. Num num num. Alright, what else we gotta do here? Off stream, before I started streaming this game, I did all the early side missions, the thug crimes and such, to get a head start on things. That's kind of all the early tedious things you gotta do in the game just to get a foothold. I like to do that as early as possible. So now we can focus just on bigger, nicer side missions and such. Some of the tediousness will come back. We'll get more street crimes. I do like that this game only makes you do a limited amount of those per district. I kind of feel that was one area where Miles Morales went backwards from this game. But it's all good. All good in the hood. Pretty skyline. I do appreciate how New York looks in this game. Never been there myself. But if you can't appreciate the prettiness of a city at night, I don't know what to tell you.
Probably didn't hear, but my sources confirm is that the perpetrators were wearing masks. Horrible demonic faces. Yet another example of the explosion in mass criminals since Spider-Man came on the scene.
This was a thing in the 90s animated series, which makes me think it has its roots in the comics. That JJ it gets really super triggered by people in masks. I think because when he was young, someone killed or tried to kill his wife, and he was wearing a mask in a drive-by shooting. I think it looked a little bit similar to Spider-Man's mask.
So he doesn't have to answer for his shenanigans. And a flashy costume so he gets attention to feed his gigantic, insatiable ego. Now, if I'm a mentally unstable person, and
Which you are,
getting all this coverage, what am I going to do? It's called copycat behavior, people, and it's ruining New York.
I mean, we like to laugh at JJJ, but if there was a guy actually doing this, like a real Spider-Man, we'd all be siding with him. We know that, right? Couldn't let a freaky deaky like this go around beating people up. But it's an adolescent power fantasy, so we go with it. Come on.
Are you okay, ma'am?
Carmen, and I'm fine. It's my husband, Rodrigo. He's been acting weird, and I just found out he's meeting this woman.
Well, listen, I'm not the best person to help with relationship problems.
It's not like that. I think she's involved with bad people. Rodrigo might be in real trouble. He's scared, but he won't tell me anything.
I can check it out. Any idea when he's meeting her next?
tonight by the detox center in Greenwich.
Okay. Don't worry,
Hey, there's
Carmen.
a sign
I'll find out what's
twirler
going
back
on.
there. Have I noticed that before? I don't know.
Detox center's not far.
That's a
Carmen
cool
just sent me
little
Rodrigo's
city
picture.
detail.
Let's see if I can find him.
Are you gonna turn into an evil clown and shoot a guy on live TV, maybe?
Luxury apartments. First one,
I could go for a luxury apartment. Ba-ba-ba. That's the problem. I've played this game so many times. I know it like the back of my hand, so I am finally becoming a little bored of it. But it's one of those things where, like, if you play a game 10 times through in a 2-year period and only just then start to become tired of it, it's not a bad game. Here we go.
That's Rodrigo. He's really nervous. The woman doesn't seem like a girlfriend.
Hell
I'll get a photo
yeah.
and see if Carmen recognizes her.
You better not hold anything back.
Why would I? If that picture gets out, my life's over.
It's a good thing no one looks up in these games.
Got it.
Very nice. Looks good. Remember, tell anyone about this, and I leak the photo.
Uh-oh. Shouldn't have texted her your dick pics, dude. It's always a bad idea.
Plans. This sounds bigger than I thought. I better follow the blackmailer and find out how big. Carmen, I'm uploading a photo to you. Does this woman look familiar?
No, I've never seen her. What were they talking about?
Sounds like she's blackmailing you. She mentioned something about plans.
My husband works security at a casino in Atlantic City.
She could be planning a heist, but I'll need more evidence before I can do anything.
Let me know if I can help.
All right. I'm gonna see where she's taking the plans. I'll be in touch.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be the part where the game teaches you how to hang upside down from the ceiling, which is largely a gimmick, but it's a Spider-Man-y gimmick, so I appreciate it.
Another victim or an accomplice? I need a photo. No perches with a good angle on this new guy. Looks like it's the underside of the High Line.
And really, why are there so many Spider-Man friendly perches in the city? I guess for the same reason Gotham went all in on gargoyles.
always was a sucker.
Just what I needed.
See the plans.
Ooh. Hoppa-da-boo, hoppa-da-boo.
Gotta catch my train. Don't want to keep the boss with me.
Okay.
That's 'cause
Go over here. Hell
People
yeah.
are in on this. I've got to follow him.
Nobody looks up. Nobody looks up. Ever. Which is actually not true. If you're on a low enough perch, you'll hear people comment on it, but it doesn't matter for these kind of stealth missions.
Where's he getting off? Tapping into the train system should help me follow the train's path.
Brr. You shouldn't worry about where he's getting off. That's private info, Spidey.
Carmen, the blackmailer met some guy under the High Line. Sounded like he knew your husband. I'm sending you the photo.
That's Deshaun, Rodrigo's best friend from college. He went to prison years ago on a robbery charge.
Casino plans and a criminal record. Not a great combination. I need to find out who else is in on it.
If they're hitting the casino, they'll need at least a wheelman and a safecracker. I watch a lot of heist movies.
Sounds like it. I'll let you know what I find out.
You see, when she said that, I thought that was a clue that she was more in on it than she's letting on. That she's actually part of the heist and she's manipulating Spider-Man into helping them somehow. But no, it really is just that she watches a lot of heist movies. Oh, I'm off
End of the
course.
line. I should head over near the subway. Is this an express line? Can't let that train out of my sight.
Oh, did I mess up? Did I screw that up? No, it's gonna give me the mulligan.
He's heading for that office building.
At least I don't have to redo it. And here is one of the few instances where you are encouraged to do some straight up wall crawling. The wall running mechanic makes wall crawling kind of irrelevant in most situations, but here you can actually do a little bit of wall crawling, which is nice. It's very Spider-Man-y. This is the one building in the city that has a fully, rendered interior.
Review the schedule on the monitor. I put out hires on the whiteboard.
Now, it doesn't matter because in this game no one looks out the windows, so I can crawl all over the windows perfectly freely, but for roleplay, it's better to, crawl underneath. Jupiter.
All right, Roman's ready and we are running late. Let's roll.
They're on the move. I have all the evidence I need.
Okay.
Now I just have to stop that car.
Car chase to combat, the little bit of combat that's in this mission. It's better to take out the front car first. Poke your head out, poke your head out, poke your head out. You know, if they did not poke their heads out, I'd have pretty much no way to stop this car. Just saying. Don't tell them that. Them actually poking their heads out to take pot shots at me is what lets me stop the car, so if they didn't do that, I'd just be hanging on up there for no reason. Pop! And you go against the wall. You go on the floor. That it? That everybody?
I love it when a plan falls apart. Hey, Carmen. Your husband's pal and his team just had their trip to beautiful Atlantic City canceled.
Thank you. I spoke to Rodrigo. That blackmail photo shows him driving the night Deshawn committed the robbery. But Rodrigo didn't know about it. He was just picking up his friends.
I've got a contact.
Still don't know why he had his dick
She'll help
out,
Rodrigo,
though, but
especially if he'll agree to testify about the
it
blackmail.
is what it is, I guess.
Or I'll show him he needs to be a lot more afraid of me than Deshawn. Thanks, Spiderman.
Carmen, your voice is too sweet to sell that. You're not a feisty girl. You're a nice girl. I do like the posturing, but you can't pull it off. Alright. Let's go ahead and get the ground pound, so we can do ground pound city a little later. And that's it. Let's go push the story forward. We're gonna go talk to the guy about the thing. Did you get that thing I sent you? I overused the word thing. Sorry. Yeah, this is one of those situations where, as much as I love swinging around, it just feels like dull times.
I have to once again defend myself against the spurious claims from McDonald Mac Gargan, aka the Scorpion. Yes, as I fully disclosed, I bankrolled.
Fully disclosed? Are you gonna disavow him too?
And that unsightly cyborg tail. The idea was to create an anti-Spider-Man who is not a threat and stops menaces. I had no idea he was crazy. Do you think his resume said psycho with a poisoning fetish? His lawsuit is a transparent attempt to reduce his sentence at the raft by placing the blame for his deeds on me. And that is one package J. Jonah Jameson refuses.
I like how a lot of his talks reference things from the animated series / original comics. I mean, I'm guessing that that comes from the comics originally and it was adapted to the cartoons. But I grew up with those cartoons, so it's fun. Fun and funny. Alright, let's go talk to the guy.
Almost morning. Mr. Lee will be here soon. I could use a snack.
Ooh, Spidey Bagel. Bagel reference. We all love our bagel references. Bagel, bagel. Bagel, bagel. Bagel. I don't think this game shows him with like the half mask on off thing where he just pulled it up so he could reveal his mouth. I think there was some of that in the trailers, but they didn't do it because it didn't fully gel with the costume switching
Lee's
mechanic.
usually in his office now.
We'll just walk up there. If anyone has anything interesting to say on the way, we'll stop. But we already did this on the first trip through. You gotta walk through the kitchen. Ooh, cookies. Let's see, that's chocolate chip and is that sugar? Is that a snickerdoodle? Sandwich? Is that a PBGA? I'm doing this little test stream before I've eaten, and that was probably not a good decision. Oh, they get some pizza. They get some leftover pizza. These guys got it so good. These poor homeless people. I didn't say that. I don't feel that way.
Partnership with restaurants and grocery stores works great. Any surplus food comes right here.
Yeah, I like details like that. That's true in a lot of cases, and it's a good program. Yeah, well, not to make this political, but yeah, I like where this game's head is at on a lot of issues. Whereas, like, the Arkham games, as much as I like their gameplay, it does lead into the super fascist, criminals are animals, and I am the law, and I'm gonna punch some sense into this godforsaken city. Leans into that Batman stuff, which is why, even though DC used to be something I loved, I don't really care for where they've gone in the past 20 years. Anyway.
Peter, what can I do for you?
I'm sorry to bother you, Mr. Lee. I have a friend, Mary Jane. She's a reporter. She's doing a story on art imports, and she found this piece. Well, she wanted an expert opinion on it, and I know you have a degree.
And this might be the first time I actually get to use it.
Is that George W.
what you
Bush
have.
in the background? In the photo? Kind of.
Interesting. Where'd she find it?
I'm really not sure. What is it?
Replica of an antique Chinese opera mask. I haven't seen one in years. This symbol here roughly translates to demon.
Ooh.
Demon?
My father...
I wonder
read
about
ghost
that
stories with that mask and
because
symbol in it when I was young.
does the Western
Scared the
concept
hell out.
of demons grounded in Christianity really track that
Here,
closely
listen.
with the Eastern demons
That mask, it's...
grounded in? I don't honestly know.
It could be connected to dangerous people. Mary Jane might want to find a different story.
Do you think she's in
I
trouble?
mean, are they? Is it just a linguistic coincidence?
Why take the risk?
Is it that, similar concept? I don't know. Guess it doesn't matter that much.
Hey,
The symbol inside the mask means demon. It really spooked Mr. Lee. Never seen him like that. He even said you should drop the story.
fat chance. Do you think Mr. Lee knows more than he's letting on?
No, I think he just had a weird flashback or something. I know his childhood was pretty traumatic.
Yeah, that makes sense. Demons, huh? Catchy name. Okay, gotta get writing. See you soon.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing will come of this.
Well, that went about as well as I could have hoped.
It's not like every major villain in Spider-Man has a personal connection with Peter Parker. That never happens. I've seen people say that personal connection stuff is exaggerated, and that only kind of became a thing in the Sam Raimi movies, but I don't know. Because I remember it being like that, in the old cartoons. it could be that if you were, because yeah, the Raimi movies and the cartoons were collating something like 30 years of comics at the time those were coming out. So it might have been like the personal connection thing. Didn't seem to happen that much.
Got some time to kill before Doc needs me
when
at the lab. Let's do a
they
little
were
Spidey workout in the city.
doing the original comics. But then when you condense all those comic stories down into a handful of movies or a single cartoon, then it's like, oh, that they did that crap all the time. This is a fun little thing. In some ways, this would make a little bit more sense if I were using the classic suit or a variation of it. But I'm doing my super canon suit lore. So, the advanced suit will be Pete's primary Spidey suit throughout the game, throughout this gameplay. And he will only switch out of it for specific circumstances.
Mr. Lee spoke to me. He seemed worried. Are you into something dangerous?
Oh, it's just a story Mary Jane's investigating. Don't worry, I'll make sure she's careful.
Please tell me you two are back together.
We're talking again. Baby steps. I hope I didn't upset Mr. Lee.
He's just concerned. I was actually touched by how concerned. I knew he liked you. He admires how dedicated you are to helping others. I think you remind him of himself when he was younger.
Aww.
Both orphans, both so smart.
Well, the admiration's mutual. You got a good boss, May.
I'll tell him you said so. Love you, Peter.
I really like the sunny daytime skybox for this game, but I kind of feel like it's the least utilized. There's a lot of sunset sequences, a lot of night sequences, a lot of rainy day sequences, but I feel like the game spends the least amount of time in like sunny days like this.
Forget, I just...
Admittedly, I could have saved some side stuff for this, but
Come on, partner. You're better than this.
I didn't, so oh well.
How did I lose track of time?
I've actually seen some people say, and I forget who said this, that it might have been interesting if, like, you actually had timers for things Pete had to do in a civilian life. Like, there was a specific time you had to get to work or get to May's party, and you would either be on time or late for it, and that would have consequences. And they were surprised they didn't do that. It's like, well, that could have been an interesting idea to gamify Peter Parker's life, but this is a Spider-Man game at the end of the day, not a Dead Uncle simulator, so this, I feel, placing the emphasis on the action gameplay was the better thing. That's also why this game doesn't have dynamic day-night cycles. Insomniac wanted more specific control of the timeline.
Busy guy like you. I guess it all blurs together, huh? Near the theater on 126 and Powell. She just called and told me.
Right. Sorry. Happy to help. I'm glad your daughter's safe. Okay, I wasn't anywhere near there. I should swing by and see what's going on.
And when he says swing by, he means it. But yeah, they didn't want to do dynamic day-night cycles because they wanted a very specific timeline for this game. And it would have been weird, like, if days and weeks went by before you went to May's party, and they acted like it was only a few hours. So I think they made the right call.
There's the theater.
It's not like Insomniac doesn't know how to make a dynamic day-night whatever.
Still alive. So whoever did this isn't a lethal protector.
It's Batman! Talk to this girl.
Already? I thought you were checking out that fire.
Right. On my way now. Which way was it again?
Last time you went that way. South.
Thanks. I got a little turned around.
I'm not the guy in charge, okay? Just keep moving, all right?
Wait.
Nope, can't let you through.
Am I missing something? I feel like I didn't do the prompt right.
Closed up today. Tomorrow.
Or did I forget to talk to this
Sorry, I
cop?
missed the action. Thanks for keeping us safe, Spider-Man.
Sorry.
Someone's impersonating me.
There we
Be
go.
the chameleon again. I've got to pick up his trail.
It's interesting that the game, implies that Spider-Man's fought some of his enemies before. He's supposed to be like 8 years in. So he referenced the chameleon, who does not show up later in the game, similar to Mysterio, the Lizard, and Sandman, who are also referenced as villains he's fought that don't end up in this game.
Looks like it got put out quickly.
You came back! I can't thank you enough for saving my friend from the fire. I thought she was dead.
My pleasure. Look, I want to make sure everyone's safe, but the smoke kind of got to me. Do you remember where I went next?
Sorry, I was helping my friend. I think you went back up there.
Thanks. Give your friend my best. Whoever faux Spider-Man is, he's helping people. But what he's doing is dangerous. I've got to find him.
What you're doing isn't?
He used the fire escape. Guess he couldn't copy my web shooters. Wonder if other me left anything behind.
What's interesting is, like, in the old cartoon, there was a little story arc where he lost his powers for a bit, but then it remembered, but he could still use his web shooters. But then when he tried, it almost pulled his arm out of socket, so he had to stop doing that. And that was a clever little reality check. I appreciated that. Turning down my headset volume. I feel like I'm having trouble talking over it, so I'm gonna have the volume be lower going to my headset than it would be if I were actually trying to play this game for enjoyment. Okay, it's one of the mini games. It's one of those things where even when I get a little tired of these and think I'm ready to do the option to skip them, I feel bad about skipping them. Because I take my role-playing seriously. More seriously than I should. But this is not even that kind of game.
ADP. Pretty standard. And easy to track. He got fire suppressant on him. If I key my lenses to track its chemical signature, it should lead me right to Spider-Man 2.0. He's walking normally.
Key his
webs,
lenses.
no powers.
There we go.
Which makes what he's doing suicidal.
You can either run this route or web swing right over it. It's faster to do the latter. And it is kind of funny that Pete is so poor, but he has enough money for this really high-tech Spidey lenses and equipment. And I note it, but I also don't mind it because, if you get too preoccupied with the reality of it, you'll decide it's more plausible that Tony Stark makes his equipment, which, God, I can't stand that decision. They ruined MCU Spider-Man, and that's a big part of it, but it's not the only part of it.
Come on, man, lay off. I told you everything. The deal's going down on the roof. No lie.
Right, just you stay out of trouble.
Alright, we're gonna run up the roof. Oh, I missed the opportunity to do one of those cool fire escape runs.
My doppelganger's got some skills.
Where'd you learn to fight like that?
So yeah, this guy must canonically be a skilled fighter, but you meet him and he's kind of dopey, kind of a Conrad Werner.
The police will handle the cleanup. Counterfeit Spidey must have gone down the other fire escape.
Alright, let's go do the thing.
That's him. People seem to like him. Yeah, I mean me. I mean, this is weird.
My pleasure, citizens. Excuse me. I hear
no
someone
gloves.
in need.
Okay, I do not talk
That's
like that.
identity hiding
like that.
101.
Let him go.
Yeah, right. We'll get even more from Mr. Fisk when we bring him your head.
Whoa, hey guys! I'm not the real Spider-Man.
Not anymore, you're not.
Time to even the odds a little.
Woohoo! One of these. Oh no! I got cocky. I almost messed it up. Almost got the guy killed.
Kill them both.
Now it's just a matter of beating up these dudes.
Team up with the real Spider-Man? No way.
You don't really have to worry about keeping that guy alive.
I'm a black belt.
He'll be okay.
Yeah, but when you
He
dress
just
like
beat
me, you
these
inherit
guys
my
up.
enemies. And I've got a lot
I
of
guess I
enemies.
would prefer I would not prefer if it were an escort mission and he could actually die if he took too much damage. Because that could get annoying. I'm gonna web you. Impact Web is so wonderfully OP. It's one of those things where it's like, it's OP and it's limited resource, so you don't want to use it too much. Uh-oh. Oh, thanks for letting me know this guy was up here.
You know,
was I saying
you want to help
something?
your community, there's a
Oh,
feast shelter nearby. And I'm sure folks would appreciate free self-defense classes.
Oh yeah, the Harlem Feast Shelter, which is referenced again later in this game, and you actually visit in Miles. I like that. I like the consistency. There's talk that the next major Spider-Man game will transplant the action to Tokyo for the sake of having a new map, which, one, if you're going to do that, I think it would be better to go to Hong Kong. Have you seen the Hong Kong skyline? That looks like a Spidey playground. But two, I don't really want it to leave New York. You know, New York is where Spider-Man's story takes place. It's an integral part of the DNA of the character. It would be weird to transport him and all the other relevant characters to Tokyo just because we want a different map. You know, I'm happy with, you know, bigger, better New York map in the next one. Although, I suppose they could split the difference, where in the next one, they could have Miles and Genki go to Tokyo to do the Far From Home thing. It's like a side story, but then everything involving Pete is in New York, and you have both, and you play on both maps. That's what I would prefer. But yeah, I think it would be lame if everything was just in Tokyo in the next one, just because.
How do you do it? One bruise at a time. Look, your heart's in the right place, but if you keep this up, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah, I see that now. Don't worry, I'm hanging up the suit. Spider-Man, no more.
Ah, the reference.
Besides, you don't need a costume to make a difference.
Hey, that's a good line. I'll remember that.
Okay, am I gonna top off and get another? Okay, good. We're gonna be able to get a thing. Ooh. Is there anything good? Oh, yeah. First aid is a good skill to get, but I don't have research tokens yet. Okay. Ooh, but I can fully finish upgrading my web shooters. If you're gonna upgrade a gadget, that's the first one to focus on, and then the second one to focus on is the impact web. Those are the two most useful. Alright. Need research tokens, need challenge tokens. Okay. I promised myself that after I got the ground pound, I'd do some traversal stuff. So here, okay, that's combat. Quick zip is in point launch. That's useful stuff. Air tricks isn't useful, it's just kind of stylish, but recovery and especially charge jump are useful. Oh, which way am I gonna go first? Let's go air tricks. Style over substance. Even though the air trick system is kind of garbage, especially compared to the refinements done for Miles Morales, but I like to have it. Woo! Look at the flips and flips. Flips and flops. Well, that was a flop. Twists and shouts. Do the twist! Do the twist! Twist and shout. Woohoo! Yeah, air tricks is one of those things that I play around with for a few minutes and then forget.
When I was a newspaper publisher, I printed the truth, and now as a broadcaster, I speak. Sometimes it hurts, but it's my responsibility to bring it to you. And the truth is, the city is not quiet. It is not peaceful. It is a disaster waiting to happen. Threats roiling under the surface like a hungry shark just beneath the waterline. Don't let Spider-Man fool you. You are not safe. None of us are.
Yeah, that's a lamer JJ episode where it's like, just be afraid in a non-specific manner, which is super accurate to guys who really do that kind of stuff, but not the best content. Moon salt. You do get a little bit of XP for doing the tricks. It's like if you do it constantly enough, maybe it's enough to actually add up and matter and get you level up a little faster. But it seems hardly worth it. But the other thing you can do is keep your focus meter topped off, which can be useful if you're going to jump right into combat from web swinging, like if there are active street crimes, which there are not right now because I already did the first set of those, but you know, later. Okay, we're gonna do the cutscene. We're gonna meet the character. Okay, here we go. Come on, Boyo boy. Bring BYOB. Bring your own boy. Oh, I set the controller down, but I actually do have to walk in before the cutscene triggers. Do a couple of things. In a Pete sequence. Sequence of Pete.
How does it work? Just like a natural arm. You think of what you want it to do, and...
You know, I wonder how realistic prosthetics like that are. Because I see some conflicting stuff. Because at first I thought, nah, that's sci-fi. But it's like, no, maybe we are actually kind of closer to something like that than you think we are.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
This site's been declared a safety hazard.
Stop that right now! This is highly sensitive equipment. That's it. I'm calling the mayor's office directly.
Peter Parker, how the hell are you?
Speak of the devil. Mr. Osborn.
Oh, please.
There's
How
Norman
long have we
Osborn.
known each other?
Some people
Mr.
say
Mayor.
that in this game he's kind of Trumpian.
It's Norman.
And while there are
Norman, what do you think
aspects
you're
to
doing?
the campaign he runs that are similar to how
The
Trump
grant
ran his
agreement you
campaign,
signed has strict
I don't
safety
see it. I don't
provisions.
see him as being particularly
This isn't
Trumpian.
your first violation.
He's too smart for one.
Those were excused.
By me. We should have confiscated this equipment long ago.
But I've had a breakthrough.
Thank you for your great
Two
service
future
to our
supervillains right here.
These folks will escort
And there's a
you
line
to
on another
Oscorp
supervillain here.
Robotics, where you'll receive the latest in
So,
prosthetics.
like, kind of
No
the
charge.
pitch
This isn't
for
about
this
safety
continuity of
infractions,
games
is it?
is that this is
I'm
like
trying to help
Spider-Man's
you,
Arkham
Arnold.
series, or does for Spider-Man what
free
the
to
Arkham
continue your
series did
work.
for Batman. Give Spider-Man his
Secure
own
environment.
specific
At
video game
Oscorp.
continuity to play in,
You always were the
and
smartest
not
guy
have
in the
to
room.
be
You haven't changed a bit.
an appendage of other Spider-Man projects.
you?
Like so many of the previous Spider-Man games were just
Peter.
games of
Harry will be
movies that
coming
were
back
out.
from Europe
So
early
it's
next
good
year.
to have something
Maybe
like this to
the
get
two of
off
you can
that
start
treadmill.
business you always talked about.
And as part of the
This
Arkham thing, they didn't start it
opportunity
at
knocking.
year zero. They started it well into his career, which is an Arkham thing. Arkham started with Batman having already encountered and had fights with all his major villains.
They didn't
so
take everything.
This game is
Maybe
kind
it's
of
not
like
over.
that, but it splits the difference.
Peter.
Peter's already fought
There's no we.
like a bunch of the trumped up
Without the
goon
grant from the
villains,
city, I
but
can no
like the
longer
really
pay you.
important villains that are part of the biggest
I need some
Spider-Man
time to think.
stories he has yet to encounter. So those are in the future.
For a new job.
I guess for the sake of spoilers, I won't say who's been left out and being set up for supervillain use later, but you can probably guess. It's the first, villains the movies used when they started making Spider-Man movies years ago. That's a pretty picture. But here we are in the Sunset Skybox, which is probably the game's favorite skybox. It's the Sam Raimi skybox.
Wish I could do something to help Doc. Maybe call Harry.
Why am I not using the Sam Raimi
dad.
suit? Because this is the Super Canon run-through.
Norman never listens to Harry. He even tried to kill funding for his research stations. Hey, one of those stations is nearby. Should see how they're doing while Harry's in Europe.
I like the research stations.
Some way to help
it's
Doc.
a fun little,
I'll think of something.
Series of side stories that lets us learn about Harry and do some interesting other things in the game. Of course, Harry's dialogue gets a little repetitive. It's one part crying about his mom, one part hiding that he's secretly sick. But it is what it is. He left me a message
about these before he left for you.
Pete, hey, I need a favor. My mom's pet project was research stations that could benefit the public. Now, I launched them, but now that I'm away, Oscorp's gonna shut them down unless they prove their value. I was hoping you could watch them. I left details in each one. Thanks, man. As long as they're here, it's like a part of my mom is, too.
Well, it's not gonna pay the bills, but it sounds like it means a lot to him. I'll do what I can to help.
Okay, so you get one research token just for activating a station, which is important for the sake of fast travel, which is done later, and then 2 more for completing the station. So we'll go ahead and complete the station. I do think you have to complete this station before the series story goes forward. But I like to do these stations as early as possible, which is admittedly why I prioritized getting the ground pound. That's a necessary move for one of these.
I think Oscorp wants this to fail because it might show they're polluting.
The amount of polycyclic hydrocarbons in the air is way too high. And rising. If it keeps getting worse, people could die.
Because I don't know why they did 2 smog emissions.
I'll swing through, nasty as they are. I gotta swing right through those clouds.
The other research stations don't really repeat like this. I mean, I guess there are a couple of
for these clouds to
different
be visible to the naked
Spidey-bot
eye,
missions, but they're handled differently. It's really just
and gotcha.
2 stations are dedicated to this exact same thing. It's the only real example of it. Oh, God damn it.
I'm getting some good stuff. Well, good samples of bad stuff anyway.
There we go. You can ping them to make them a little easier to spot. I can just
got it.
Get the targeting right. Okay, there's one. There's one.
Oh, feels like I'm breathing from a tailpipe.
The other thing this does is to use the camera app, which is separate from the photo mode. I thought they would have been connected, but no. They're different. There's no tall buildings around that one. I gotta launch myself from here.
Huh.
There we go.
Toxins coming from 2 types of cars and a faulty smokestack. I better get photos.
Okay, I'm right on top of one of the cars. Excuse me, sir. Don't mind me. Just taking photos of your car. No reason. You'll get a ticket in the mail, though.
Perfect.
Okay. Now that we're done chasing down the cars, we'll chase down the smokestack, which is not going anywhere.
Best smokestack picture I ever took. The Department of Environmental Protection will take it from here. Maybe I should make a green spider costume for Earth Day.
Do it, do it. Green and black.
Well,
that
Harry
could
Station
look
just
stupid.
stopped the public health crisis. Oscorp's gonna have a hard time arguing it's not useful.
Spider-Man, Shocker has escaped, and now he's robbing a bank on East 31st.
Wow, the
What
prison
happened?
sucks.
I thought he was behind bars.
He was, but one of the guards just walked up to his cell and released him, then gave him his suit back.
I knew Shocker was working for someone. What did you get out of the guard?
Well, yeah, I ended the stream last time right after the Shocker chase, so... Yeah, doing the Shocker bank fight and ending after that makes sense to me. Of course, if I do more streams, I'm out of Shocker sequences, so we'll have to see. But for now, it'll work.
Okay, I'll see what I can get out of Shocker when I get to the bank.
Cut through Times Square. There's the Chrysler building, which they would not allow them to put in Miles Morales. Wiener.
Sure, I've been looking into the demons. Sounds like they've quietly established a power base in the vacuum left by Fisk.
Yeah, after the Shocker fight is when the demon crimes are gonna start up.
What were you supposed to do? Let Fisk keep godfathering? Are you okay? You sound even mopier than usual.
I think I might have just...
Sorry, MJ, got important work to do.
Herman! Long time no see. Hey, I'm no lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that's a parole violation. Oops, guess we're stuck in here for a while. Want to play 20 questions? No?
Yeah, I would prefer 7 minutes in heaven, but...
Face punch it is. Whoa! Your gauntlets are all digital now, aren't they?
Have it your way.
That was quite a hit. Can Spider-Man really take that? Does he have spider durability?
Can't wait to put you back behind bars so we can talk science.
It seems like durability is treated as part and parcel of super strength, but I don't see why they would necessarily be that way.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Okay, just swinging around until an opening.
For how much talking one should do, and who determines the ideal ratio of talking versus not talking? Also, how would you measure it? Words per minute? Okay, now I can do some real damage.
Boss fights in this game aren't the greatest. I'm not even sure what I would recommend to do differently, but it just kind of seemed like dodge, exploit the weakness patterns, which can be a good way to structure a boss fight, but it feels like you're not really fighting them if you don't do it right. Like the final villain fight of the game is Spider-Man fighting one of his classic villains, and it feels a little disappointing because the way it's structured, it just kind of feels like you web up the guy until you get an opening. You're not doing a good fight. I feel like boss fights with that character in earlier Spider-Man games were better.
Try day trading. It's all the rage.
But I admit, the Shocker fight is decent. It works well enough.
Oh, come on, Herman.
Herman. I like how he calls him Herman.
I can help you cut a deal.
If I talk, I'm dead. They made that very clear.
Slow-mo. Yeah, I could have used a takedown there, but it's not always the best idea to do those in boss encounters. Because while they do damage, they will not trigger the next, sequence in the fight. You just do that with regular hitting. Something about how the game is scripted.
What do
So, like, yeah, I guess it would make sense to have used it right there to whittle down his health bar to get myself in the position closer to ending the fight. But it's discouraged because you can't actually end the fight with a takedown. I know it all sounds technical, but that's just the way it is.
Give up now and we can protect you! No way! You ain't see what I do!
Nice shot. No, I like the framing of that. That's what I meant.
You son of a...
You shouldn't have.
This time I really mean it!
I'm thinking of Gura intercussing Resident Evil stream. Get him a bit! Those stupid bastards!
Okay, I was kidding before. Now
I have the option of changing button mashing to hold because button mashing is a crap mechanic and I have issues with my fine motor control, which means I can play a game like this just fine, but doing a button mash as fast as it wants me to clear those checks is a problem, so I like that they have the button mash to hold thing. They also have the autocomplete QTE things. I leave that off. I try to do those myself. But button mashing is a garbage mechanic, and I'm glad it can kind of be sidestepped. I've literally had to buy turbo controllers in the past for games that had button mashing sequences that I could not get past. I'm thinking of Star Fox Adventures.
Okay, Yuri. Shocker's all yours now.
Good work. We have a special cell waiting for him at the raft. We'll make sure he stays behind bars this time.
Also, I'm pretty sure he was working for the Demon Gang.
Demon Gang? Sounds like a Daily Bugle headline.
Hey, the Bugle is a perfectly fine news organization.
Not sure I'd call it news.
Well, I've heard they have some really good reporters. Anyway, have you had any more reports on demon, guys with masks?
Let me get back to you. By the way, how much of a mess did you make inside that bank?
You probably don't want to know.
Shouldn't have asked.
Okay. Let me finish up here. I'm gonna be bringing the stream to an end. Ooh, I will take this, though. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it, but you get a specific bit of dialogue from JJ for using the punk suit a little bit. So trolling JJ is worth it in and of itself. Quick recovery, that's a good one. But yeah, you really want the charge jump. Then I'll do some of this over here. Then after that, I'll get the chain finisher, which is super handy, especially late in the game. Alright. But I am ending the stream for now, so see you later, maybe.